It's time. Take some men to the grain warehouse. Bring enough food and pickled radishes for all 200 people. And remember, make today's kanji a little thicker. The Pinyon County locals who had come to reinforce the wall all had completely empty stomachs and heavy doubts. They wondered if the promise of food was actually real. Was the magistrate really going to feed them at noon? Or was he just playing them for fools? Bailiff Chien relayed my orders immediately to stop unregistered outsiders from sneaking in for a free meal. Everyone had to line up in their original teams. They stood ready to eat in their assigned groups. When the lid was finally lifted off the kanji pot, the fragrant, heavy scent of rice drifted through the air. The workers in the front row caught that intense aroma and froze. They couldn't help but swallow hard at the sight of that rice. But what surprised them even more was the large wooden barrel I had brought out. It was filled with something reddish and glistening, with a layer of fat that looked incredibly appetizing. I opened the registry and addressed the crowd standing behind me. Everyone, listen up. Step forward by team to receive your food. If your name isn't on this list, don't even bother trying. I won't have anyone coming here just to mooch off us. Gula Oliu's team was the first in line. He grabbed his first bowl of kanji, not even caring that it was steaming hot. He took a massive, desperate gulp with that very first bite. Gula Oliu felt his stomach, which had been hollow and cold, warm up instantly from the inside out. He realized this kanji was nothing like the watery government relief food from before. Gula Oliu shouted at the top of his lungs, "Brothers, the magistrate is giving us the high-quality rice. This is the kind of grain that only the nobles and the wealthy ever get to eat." Soon, all the workers repairing the wall had received their kanji and pickled radishes. But as they ate, something strange happened. Without even realizing it, they began to shed tears. Some of them even started to sob openly. These people were crying simply because they had never tasted kanji this delicious. I sat off to the side, eating my own meal in the shade. But the sound of their constant wailing was starting to get on my nerves. I stood up impatiently and shouted, "If you're not full, go back to the pot and get more. Stop crying or people will think I'm starving you." The workers froze the moment they heard my words. They went silent, staring at me in total shock. They couldn't believe I had just told them that if one bowl wasn't enough, they were allowed to go back for seconds. They looked at each other, wondering if they were still dreaming. Eating even one bowl of this high-quality kanji was already a luxury, and now their magistrate was telling them they could have as much as they wanted. One worker who had finished his bowl but was still hungry approached me nervously, bowed low, and spoke up. "My lord, is it true? Can I really have another bowl?" I gave a short, calm nod and told him to go ahead. Once they realized I wasn't joking and this wasn't a trick, the men who had already finished their first serving scrambled toward the pots. They rushed to line up for a second helping as fast as they could. I watched them devour the food like it was their last meal. I stood up and spoke with a sharp, commanding tone. "Everyone, listen up. From now on, anyone who works for me will never go hungry again. But if you dare to fight or cause trouble, then, from that moment on, everyone starves." I said this because I needed to start planting something in their hearts, a seed of obedience and discipline. Pinyon County sits at the crossroads of a five-kingdom battlefield. Building walls to defend it isn't enough for the war that's coming. Once the walls are repaired, I need to recruit locals and train them into soldiers. I need men who can actually protect this county. But what good is a militia if I can't command it? I was busy imagining a brave army under my banner, skilled and lethal in battle, when Agent Chien Yong arrived, dragging a shifty-looking man by the collar. He threw him down at my feet. "Agent Chien," I said, looking at the man on the ground. "What crime has this man committed?" Chien Yong bowed and replied, "My lord, this is a lazy slacker I captured. This young man's name is Bai Sheng. This morning, he didn't show up to work on the wall. He was out loitering in the streets. He took advantage of the soup rush to sneak into the crowd and blend in. My lord, I beg you to deliver justice." I looked down at Bai Sheng as he lay trembling on the ground. I didn't rush to punish him. Instead, I ordered an officer to bring over 2 bowls of soup and some pickles. "You're Bai Sheng, right? You just ate your fill a moment ago." Bai Sheng dropped to his knees properly and began to plead. "My lord, please spare my life. It was like a demon possessed me. I only pretended to be a worker so I could eat. I'd barely taken 2 sips when the agent captured me. I know I've done wrong. I swear I'll work twice as hard this afternoon." I smiled at him. "Is my soup good, Bai Sheng?" Bai Sheng remained prostrated on the ground, shaking with pure terror. He didn't stop bowing as he stammered out a response. "Yes, thank you, my lord." I leaned down and whispered softly into his ear. "You should know that my soup isn't something you can just take whenever the craving hits you." Even though my words were gentle, Bai Sheng froze where he knelt. He stayed pressed against the ground, trembling with panic. "My lord, please spare my life. The wall needs repairing, and I need people. See those 2 bowls of soup on the table? One is for you to drink right now. The other is for you to take while you go out and recruit people for me." "Understood." Bai Sheng looked stunned. "My lord, you mean I should go through the whole city announcing that whoever repairs the wall will receive soup and pickles to eat?" I nodded with a calm smile, confirming his words. Was I really not going to punish him? He asked in a low voice. "My lord, are you truly not going to punish me for today?" I snorted coldly. "If I see that tomorrow the number of workers on the wall remains